Everything was going smoothly until that terrifying day when my boyfriend showed his real side. Yesterday, I woke up and made breakfast for my partner of 6 months and me. We had a good morning despite my spilling most of the food on the floor. We laughed while we cleaned it, and there was enough left to make him a plate. He finished, showered, and came out smiling. So I made a joke about moving in with my married best friend while he went on a 10-day cruise. He didn't laugh. He answered with a serious line about not being in the mood, and then said he needed proof I wasn't still talking to my ex. I told him it was a joke, but he kept pushing. He demanded I unblock my ex so he could see I wasn't messaging him. I said no. I didn't want to open that old door. He got louder and angrier and said he would text my ex himself because he'd saved the number. He said if I didn't message my ex, he would cancel the lease and make me leave. My hands shook. His words felt like a threat. I felt trapped and small, and out of fear, I unblocked my ex and sent a message. There was no answer. I felt sick and hollow. A few hours later, I asked if I could block the number again, and he said yes. I made plans to see a friend that afternoon for a few hours, and when I told him, he exploded, screaming that I couldn't spend time away from him. He started punching the walls, throwing things, and then told me to get out. He texted me seconds later to run away and stay somewhere else, which made no sense because he knew I had nowhere to go. Later that night, he took my phone while I packed and came back and got physical. He grabbed my hair, pulled me, and at one point slammed me to the ground. I managed to get away and ran to the landlord, who stepped in long enough for me to grab a bag. I had lost my job recently and had no family to call, and he had taken the keys to my car, so I felt completely cornered. I started to see how fast everything had changed. We had been friends before dating, but the friendship had cracked when he broke off his other friendship with a married woman, and it felt like more evidence that he had been emotionally unfaithful in ways I hadn't fully known. A few days later, he came back unexpectedly with a key I didn't know he had, and ranted for an hour while I stayed quiet and recorded the whole thing on my phone. When he calmed, he tried to promise we could fix things. He also said if he invented one more scenario, I'd have to prove it wasn't true, and then we'd be done. I told him I wouldn't spend my life proving things to a man who made them up, and I asked for space. He left some furniture and said he'd pick it up later. He returned another time in a softer mood, asked for a hug, and finally left for good after I hugged him and let him go. After that, the landlord changed the locks, installed cameras, and updated the lease so I am the only tenant. The landlord also moved me to a safer, monitored parking area. I filed a police report so there is an official record, and I began counseling because I couldn't sleep and kept replaying how quickly his mood could turn. I packed in a rush that first time, taking my passport, bank card, a small amount of cash, chargers, and important papers, and a few friends offered temporary places to stay. I gave the police the recording from my phone, and they told me to keep evidence and consider a restraining order if I felt threatened. The counselor helped me make a safety plan, and I started learning small practical things. Keep my phone charged and on me, tell a neighbor to call if he shows up, and write down people who can help. Some nights I'm overwhelmed and wonder if I did the right thing, but then I remember the moment he grabbed my hair and how my whole focus narrowed to getting away. That memory keeps the choice clear. I won't accept sudden violence or threats as normal. I'm still in the apartment for now because I have nowhere else to go. But with the locks changed, the cameras, the police report, and counseling, I have small, solid things I can hold on to while I figure out what comes next. I started taking simple, practical steps every day. I memorized 2 neighbors' names, gave one friend a detailed rundown, and stashed a small amount of cash in a separate place. A friend left a spare charger and shoes at my door in case I had to run. I changed routines. I used the peephole before opening the door and avoided going out alone at night. When panic rose, I called my counselor or a friend and let them talk me down for a few minutes. The landlord's quick action to change the locks and add cameras made it harder for him to return unannounced, and the police report put my story on record. The counselor taught me small tools to sleep more than a couple of hours and to make a safety plan. I still grieve what we lost, and I still have to sort out work and where I'll live, but the locks, the report, the neighbor who checks in, and the plan give me a path forward. Those small things are enough to keep me moving, one day at a time. I am cautious and scared, but I no longer hide the truth to protect someone who hurt me. I am happy to take legal action.